Welcome back. 2 years ago, the NBC 10 investigators began keeping tabs on the state of bridges across Massachusetts. And what they found was hundreds of bridges across the Bay State were deemed structurally deficient. Our NBC 10 investigator Corey Smith joining us live in studio with an update on the numbers. And Corey, you got an exclusive look at how deep inspectors must go to ensure they're safe.
Yeah, Priscilla, it's important to note that structurally deficient does not mean unsafe. But 2 years after our first investigation, 250 additional bridges have been added to that structurally deficient category. Well, tonight we dive into the latest numbers and introduce you to the inspectors at MassDOT who ditched the hard hats for scuba gear in order to ensure some of the bridges we use every day are safe. On the surface, it's clear. Father Time and Mother Nature have not been kind to the state's aging infrastructure. On bridges across Massachusetts, crumbling concrete, exposed rebar, and rusted steel are all clear to the naked eye. But what lies beneath the surface is also critical to determining whether the nearly 8,000 bridges we use every single day are safe.
There's a lot of eyes on the above water stuff, so the underwater stuff nobody's really looking at except us.
Every single day, Bill Colleran and members of MassDOT's Bridge Inspection Dive Team gear up and take the plunge to examine the nearly 1,250 bridges in Massachusetts that sit in 3 feet of water or deeper.
So if there is a major deficiency going on, we're probably the ones that are going to see it, as opposed to if something goes out of whack on a bridge above water.
We tagged along with Colleran's team on a recent inspection of bridge number A07009, a 2-span bridge that sits over the Powwow River in Amesbury. Over the course of the dive, the team looks at a number of structural elements. They closely examine the granite block abutments connecting the deck to the ground, looking for any cracks or sign the soil has eroded or washed away. They check for rust on the center pier and the condition of the wood that surrounds it. If necessary, the team also has the tools to make repairs.
So this bridge would be given a rating of 7, which is considered good.
The Federal Highway Administration measures elements of bridge safety on a scale of 0 to 9, with 9 being excellent. Structurally deficient bridges usually have a score of 4 or less in one of the 3 critical structures: the deck, superstructure, and substructure, which is what the dive teams focus on. 2 years ago, we obtained data showing more than 400 bridges in Massachusetts were structurally deficient. Today, that number stands at nearly 700.
We do have an aging infrastructure, so I wouldn't say there's any specific cause. I would emphasize that we are constantly monitoring and inspecting our bridges. So again, they're not unsafe, even if they come up with a poorer score than we would like in an inspection.
Carrie LaValle is chief engineer and deputy administrator for MassDOT. She's also worked with the dive team. She reiterated what we were told 2 years ago, that structurally deficient does not mean unsafe.
No matter what the condition of the bridge is, we make sure to keep it safe and we make sure that we're constantly monitoring it. I can't emphasize enough how important it is to have these inspectors out here.
In addition to their regularly scheduled inspections, the dive teams have also been busy doing emergency inspections following the major flooding events we saw last year. LaValle says their work is critical to developing the agency's resiliency plan and ensuring the millions of dollars in funding to repair the state's aging bridges goes where it's needed most. As someone who spends countless hours underwater examining every nook and cranny, Colleran says despite the numbers, things are improving.
Bridges that are in worse shape have been getting repairs or getting replaced. The state's really prioritizing the ones that are in the worst shape.
Now, repairing and maintaining the state's bridge infrastructure costs billions of dollars, and a lot of the money has been coming from the bipartisan infrastructure bill that was passed a few years ago. In the studio, Corey Smith, NBC 10 Investigators.